Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date a
If he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See,
he
that's a
owns it.
problem. That's a problem. That's a problem
Okay.
because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about
Mm-hmm.
that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who
Mm,
we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver
mm,
if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of
mm-hmm.
integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver.
Mm,
I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver.
mm-hmm.
So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us
Mm,
unhappy, keeps us angry,
mm.
keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong, it's obsolete. It's obsolete.
Mm.
We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself.
Any beautiful lady or woman watching this video, would you date a bus driver? Let me know down in the comment section. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? My name is Maria Davis and I'm back again with another interesting video. So a question was asked to someone that is rich, a well-known rich lady, and Auntie Ayala asked her that, would you date a bus driver? And she said, if he owns the bus. If he owns the bus, then I would date him. And she goes around and be like, I will date a bus driver if that is what he likes. That is your preference. But you all, I have interesting issues to share with you all. I don't see reason why Black women, we have to lower our standard before we can find a man. I do not know. I have interesting issues to share with you all. Kindly sit down, relax, and watch. Then we'll come back at the end of the video to talk about it.
You. Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns the
driver?
bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus.
I'm going to stay in my lane and just say this. The women who are stitching the hell out this video, y'all is on point. Y'all doing a great job. Mwah. Love you. Well explained. I just want to say one thing and I'm going to get back in my lane. It is dangerous to a woman to partner with an unequally yoked man. It's dangerous to you physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, to your offspring, to partner with unequally yoked men. Don't let nobody talk you into or force you to be with somebody who you're not supposed to be with. All right? If it don't feel right, don't do it. And the fact that people got to talk you into being with someone and persuade you to give somebody a chance is a red flag. All right? Go with what you know.
Would you date a bus driver?
Why are Black women constantly being told we need to lower our standards to find a partner? No, there's nothing wrong with blue-collar jobs such as a bus driver. But Ebony K. Williams is an accomplished attorney. Why shouldn't she find a partner who's her equal? I rarely see anyone telling the white and Asian girls that their standards are too high to find a man. But yet Black women are expected to accept struggle love and be ready to build with their partners. No, you shouldn't only focus on money, and character absolutely matters. But quiet as it's kept, the men with the least money are some of the meanest ones you'll find. In 2023, there are so many Black women who are highly educated and come with their own bag. So they deserve to find good men who will love them well and be able to financially bring something to the table.
Would you date a bus driver? You.
Is any other race of woman who's a millionaire being asked to date a bus driver? And if she's like, yeah, if he owns the bus, and then is berated and told her standards are too high and you're going to be unhappy living like that, do any other race of women deal with that? Because if she's making a lot more money than him and he's just a bus driver, wouldn't that mean she's the masculine one in the relationship because she's going to be paying more of the bills? And isn't that a problem with black women being too masculine? Isn't it also a problem with black women that our standards are too low? That's why we got Pookie and Ray Ray. So again, why is a black woman with $1 million being asked to date a bus driver?
Would you date a bus driver? You.
Why does it feel like there's this recurring habit of this type of video where you ask X woman, would she date X position? And then you turn up in arms when her answer is no to said question. Like, why does this continue to happen? And depending on the uploader of the video, the comment section goes one or two ways. It's either, okay, that's her preference, or die alone, get a cat, die alone, buy your house, buy yourself, die alone, buy a cat, buy a dog, die alone. Like, why does the comment section go either way? Why do we ask certain women in certain positions this question and not others? Meaning Ebony K. Williams, attorney, New York housewife, lives in New York City, one of the most expensive cities. We always ask the doctors, the lawyers, the entrepreneur women. You never ask the X position that you're asking about. So for the example, asked her, would she date a bus driver? You never ask a woman bus driver, would she date the same position? When you ask these questions, would you date the worker at this? Why don't you ever ask the female equivalent of worker at this? You always ask the same person. And it's because you want the comment section to go off. You want it to be, no, that's die alone. When you could ask someone else and get a different response. Even in this video, they asked Iyanna. Iyanna asked the question, would you? Ebony said no. Iyanna said yes. 50%. One person said no, one person said yes. But the continuous, agenda of this is the Ebony said no, so let's hound the Ebonies. You're not focusing on the fact that Iyanna said she would. Focus on the Iyannas. Go after the Iyannas. Date the Iyannas. Ebony has made her preference clear on what she prefers to date, but yet the humbling of Ebony is upon us. It's like, well, you gotta come down. We're up in arms when we're ignoring the fact that one person said they would. One person 100% said they would. So how many times are we going to go through this rat race wheel of humbling X person when they said they wouldn't, instead of going after the person who said they would? It's the berating of the person who said I wouldn't, because in my mind, the way I'm reading it is they want the Ebonies. They don't want the Iyannas. They want the Ebonies. So let's berate the Ebonies until they cower down and say, okay, and change their minds. When you have people whose minds don't need to be changed and they're saying they would date, why is this humbling only it feels like in our community, this humbling, this, we're gonna die. Like, why is this happening? Let them die alone. If that's what you think is gonna happen, if you think they're gonna be sad, miserable people, why not just let them be sad, miserable people? I'm not understanding.
Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's the problem.
I'm just gonna add my 2 cents into this. First, a bus driver is not a low-income job, so I don't know why some of y'all are like making it seem like it's low income. Like, I'm seeing a lot of y'all stitch this video saying that y'all would never date a bus driver and y'all make just the same or even less as a bus driver. But Ebony is in a different tax bracket because she has a lot of money and a lot of accomplishments, and she want to date somebody just like that within her tax bracket and has a lot of accomplishments, which she has a right to.
Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it.
What is y'all's obsession with humbling black women? If you ask me, that question was loaded and it was aimed to assess something else rather than just assessing if she would date a bus driver, but I ain't gonna even get into that because I ain't even comfortable talking about it on my platform. What's so wrong with rich women or women who are already established wanting to be met where they are in life? It's literally so tiresome, it's exhausting, and it's tone deaf for her to say something like the standard is off for who we are in society and who they are and where they are in society. A lot of us have aimed high and achieved high because we want to create a sense of rest and ease in our lives. And we've done just that, hence the soft black girl era. What is so wrong with wanting a man that matches that and who can meet us equally, or at least somewhat equally, to protect what we've built and what we have established thus far. And even her referring to her standards or her thought process as obsolete is tone deaf, because women, especially Black women, are overachieving across the board in business, education, healing, and in health. And instead of just calling on men to maybe raise the bar a little bit more, in so many words, we basically tell women or rich women to humble themselves. It don't sit right with me. And if you truly ask me, Black women are embarking on a new and groundbreaking sense of life. We are truly standing in our power and redefining what it means to be a powerful woman. And this is not to put down other races of women. I'm just speaking on the Black experience. We are no longer operating out of desperation or a scarcity mindset. Number one, because we have become self-sufficient, and we no longer fear being shamed or talked about because we're not married and have children by a certain time. To me, Black women are chasing peace and protection. And a lot of us have watched our mothers and our grandmothers be the head of the household or the breadwinners, and we're just not choosing that for ourselves for the sake of tradition or just saying that we are married so people won't assume that it's something wrong with us. I'm not marrying Henry or Willie Earl just for the sake of getting married. Like, it's out of here. Finito.
Would you date a bus driver?
There are a certain generation of women which this was their only piece of dating advice. But you want to know who's worse than Iyanla? 1 second. This queen right here, Miss Terry McMillan. She gave us this gem. This gem. And my mother owned a lot of Terry McMillan books, and I read this book very young. So I always talk about sort of the indoctrination that a certain generation of women went through movies, all sorts of media, telling them this, giving them this specific dating advice, that their standards are too high, that they need to lower their standards in order to find love and to find marriage partners. It's 2023. I think it's high time that we stop asking women these questions. First of all, I just don't understand why Ebony, at this particular point in her life, at this particular point in her career, would, say that she wants to date be interested in dating a bus driver. It's not realistic. It doesn't add up. And it is the romanticizing of this that I find particularly peculiar, because when you watch these movies or you hear this advice, it's like you'll be walking down one day and you'll randomly meet this guy and you wouldn't have any idea that he's a bus driver, and you'll just fall in love with him for him, and then turns out he's a bus driver. I just, like, what world are we living in? And every single time a woman of an older generation does this to a woman of a younger generation, all she does is open this Black woman up to abuse online. And I don't know if Iyanla is quite aware of the level of vitriol and abuse Black women experience online, but she should be. And all this did was open Ebony up to be called a gold digger, to be called all kinds of names, but a child of God, and to have her subjected to abuse. And I'm not saying that she can't handle it. I'm pretty sure she's capable of handling it. But we should know by this point that these kinds of questions, this conversation, is not constructive or not helpful to Black women. We have to stop telling Black women that their standards are too high. And it also creates this false narrative that all Black women don't want to date bus drivers. Plenty of Black women date bus drivers. Plenty of Black women date blue collar workers. Plenty of Black women date men who make less money than them. That's what the stats show us. So this narrative, it just opens Black women up to more abuse.
Would you date
If he owns the bus.
I honestly want us as a community to stop being offended by stuff that we have no business being offended by. Everybody that saw that clip, if you haven't, go back and watch it, and make sure you watch the full interview as well. To summarize real quick, Ebony Williams, who states that she has dated across the age and race spectrum, she didn't say any kind of age or any kind of race, and without blaming men, what should she do to get better results in dating? Keep in mind, Ebony has a net worth of $3 million. She's on the Real Housewives of New York, and she's an attorney. Very accomplished. And Iyanla asked a very irresponsible question. To me, the problem in this whole thing was the question Iyanla asked. Because Iyanla Van Zant knows how to make a moment and knows how to do TV. And so instead of asking Ebony, what is it that you value in these relationships and where did they go wrong, and help her through that, she asks, would you date a bus driver? Because she knows somebody of Ebony's status and stature and all that she's accomplished in her life, she would not, and there's nothing wrong with her not wanting to. She also didn't say anything about the bus drivers, but that he would have to own the bus that he's driving. And again, she didn't call out black men at all. She said she's dated across the age and race spectrum, and she still hasn't had the results that she wanted to have. And for whatever reason, everybody's so mad saying that she's talking down on regular workers. And the problem that I have with y'all with that is anytime you log on, anywhere you go, it don't matter. All people talk about is regular jobs, not having a regular job. Or if you have a regular job, you need to do more than that. You need to have multiple streams of income. You need to own your own business. You need to be all these other kind of things. And when this woman essentially says, I want to date somebody who has that going on, y'all are mad? Y'all want to have selective outrage on the dumbest of things. And one last thing, like, let's just be honest. Now y'all care about bus drivers, fast food workers, regular jobs. Look how y'all treat people with regular jobs day in and day out, but you care so much. And then also, nobody cared about the fact that Iyanla Van Zant, who's of even higher stature than Ebony, said that she would date a bus driver. So there's women of that high status that would date the bus drivers. But why not focus on that? Why focus on the Ebonys that don't want to and then focus on the Iyanlas that would? But again, it's selective outrage and y'all trying to cancel Ebony and do all this other kind of stuff. Literally over nothing and literally over a clip. But once you watch the whole video, there was honestly nothing to be mad about. Her preference is her preference.
Would you date a bus driver? You.
What's going on TikTok? It's your girl Renee and I am back with another video. This video will be about my opinion based on the video that's been going around between Iyanla Van Zant and Ebony Williams. If you have not seen that video, please go on social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. For the ones that are watching, basically it's about this video of Iyanla asking Ebony, would she date a bus driver? And Ebony's response was, if he owns the bus. So let's get into it. Me personally, I've been seeing a lot of stitches that are kind of misunderstanding what Iyanla is saying. And it's literally driving me up the wall. Because never not once Iyanla said, lower your standards. Never not once that Iyanla said, lower your standards. That's not what she's saying. You're not supposed to judge a man based off his occupation. You're supposed to judge a man based off his character. And y'all talking about, oh, she's a multi-millionaire. She's some 40 years old and a lawyer. She's supposed to be in certain social economic rooms that are equivalent to her and the men that are up to her level. Well, obviously, she's been doing a lot of leveling. And see, she just ain't got no man yet. See, y'all got to understand that these women like Ebony, these are women that are coming out saying that they're having a hard time finding a man. And the men that are equivalent to them and that are on the level that they are economically, those men, they still don't want women like Ebony. Because it's the materialistic mindset. It's the mindset of, oh, I'm going to date you and be with you, not for who you are, but for what you have, but what you can provide for me materialistically. And it's so funny how y'all are saying that Iyanla is telling her, oh, to lower her standards. But see, y'all have to realize that some of these women's standards are unrealistic. Okay? It's getting ridiculous. So you're not going to give a guy a chance all because he can't take you to Dubai. You're not going to give him a chance because he can't take you to the state capitol grill. You're not going to give him a chance because he doesn't drive a Hellcat. Like, it's numerous of unrealistic standards that y'all have on y'all list that are just very unrealistic. It's not always about settling for less. No, some of y'all standards are just out of this fucking window. Because the same multimillionaire men that she's been around, because that same man that don't owns a bus can be motivated by you to own a bus.
Would you date a bus driver?
Only black women are told you get what you get, you don't get upset. You don't get to have your professional equal. You don't get to have your monetary equal. You just get what you get. If you are a successful attorney, talk show host, been on Real Housewives of New York, you have accolades through the roof, political commentator, legal commentator, you want a man, go get a bus driver, go get a garbage man. Yeah, that's what you need to date. I've never seen anyone have these ridiculous and stupid comments and questions towards any other race of women. Only black women are told that you need to settle. Only black women can be in their 40s looking for their intellectual and professional counterpart, their equal, and they're told, you know what? Yeah, you need to go find a man on the street. Have you tried a Walmart manager? That's the only thing. I've never seen any, not even a Walmart manager. Have you tried the fry cook at the Wendy's? And there's nothing wrong with people having those jobs. I think that a job is a job and you make money. But there's nothing wrong with wanting someone who makes the same amount of money as you, who is your professional equal. You're not going to sit here and tell a woman like Ebony K. Williams, well, yeah, you need to be looking at the bus drivers. And quite as it's kept, the men who are, in these blue-collar jobs, these trade jobs, who are making good money, who are good men, they have families. Because the men who are good men are going to get snatched up because they're good men. It's only the dusties who think they're good men that are crying in the comments talking about, oh, she's a gold digger. That woman's worth millions of dollars. And she's a gold digger because she said she wanted a man who would own a bus? Are you serious right now? I'm 28, but I'm educated. I have a master's degree. I would date a bus driver, but you need to be on track to be the supervisor. You need to be, running the bus system, the transit system in your county. That's what I'm looking for, someone who is on track to do that. Because let me tell you something. I grew up in a beyond six-figure household. I grew up in a gated community. I've done every type of extracurricular activity that I wanted to. I had the tutoring. I went to private school. I have done anything that I wanted. I am accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. Struggling isn't really something that I knew. Is it wrong for me to want someone who's going to give me the same lifestyle that I've been accustomed to for my entire life? Absolutely not. And that's not to say that I wouldn't date someone who did a trade. But you have to want more for yourself. I'm young, but if I'm gonna be 35, almost 40 years old, no, I'm not building you up. There's no more about potential. You don't have potential anymore, because if you had the potential, you would have done it. It doesn't take a woman to make you a good man. You should want that for yourself. And if you think that's too much, then you're not the man for me. Go join the Passport Bros and go over there and give that BS to a woman who needs a green card, because that's the only reason why they're putting up with it. Because right now, the bar is in hell, and I'm not grabbing from it.
If you're still here, definitely you're enjoying this video. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and comment your thoughts about this particular topic down in the comment section. Okay, for me, if you ask me, would I date a bus driver, my simple answer is no. It's not like because I'm so rich or something, but I don't see how that is my standard. Okay, everybody has their standard, everybody has their preference, and I would not want to go that low to go and start dating a bus driver. I see bus drivers where I am, they are people that I can't even talk to. So would I date a bus driver? Oh no, I can't date a bus driver. And it is fine if a woman decide that I don't want to date a poor person. And there was a stitch that I saw. The lady was like, okay, if she decides that okay, she's going to date this bus driver, and now she's not the one carrying the whole responsibility in the house because she's the one that has the money, then the men will come and start saying, you women, you are too masculine, you are controlling the house, you are doing everything we women are supposed to do, yada yada yada, you are doing too masculine thing, you need to be feminine. But how do you expect that kind of woman to be feminine when she's already lowering her standards to fit your standard? She's the one working so hard so that the family can chop. So how would she not be masculine? Because this particular question, I feel like it's just contradicting. You want someone that is earning enough and someone that is in high standards to go very low to marry somebody just because she's single, as marriage is the only thing that women came to this world to do. That is another topic entirely. So she's going to lower her standard to come and marry somebody that she's going to eventually start feeding, because his earning cannot fit her level of living. I'm not sure what his earning will be able to pay for whatever for any luxury she can pay for at this time. He cannot even look at that position, you know. So if she's going to lower her standard to meet up with this man, definitely she's going to marry the man and be the one that is solely providing for the family, and that will bring out a masculine energy, a masculine energy. And now black men will come and say, my wife is too masculine, I want her to be feminine. I don't know why we have to lower our standard. And what is it with dying alone? Women will be, okay, go and die alone, since you cannot marry someone that is, you cannot lower your standard and marry this man. Go and die alone. Let her die alone. Are you going to die beside her before? I don't understand what's going on, you all. Seriously. Because she cannot lower her standards to marry somebody that she feels like cannot pay her bills, or she might not be able to really, how would I put it, she cannot really, you know, I don't know the word anymore, but then she can't lower her standards to that point. Definitely she's going to die alone. There was a stage and someone said, why can't you ask somebody that is a woman that is a bus driver, ask her that, can you marry your fellow bus driver? And let's hear what she's going to say. If she's going to say yes, she's going to say no. Why can't we focus on somebody in that level? Why do you need to go to somebody in very high level to come down and say, would you marry somebody of this level? So if she doesn't marry somebody of that level, then you're coming out to cancel her and be like, oh, she's going to die alone, or she cannot lower her standards. This man can be rich one day, he might he might be able to afford the bus and be the owner of the bus. And let him get to that stage, then ask that question again. Then she will tell you yes, because that was her answer. And she said, I would only date a bus driver if he owns the bus. She doesn't have a problem with her husband driving the bus, but let him be the owner. There's nothing wrong with the answer. There's nothing wrong with it. I just want to know your thoughts about this particular video down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and comment your thoughts about this down in the comment section. And I'll see you all in my next video.